Jordan Love this year. Thank you guys, man, for joining Big B Dailies Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central. Come on in. We are live on TikTok, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Thanks for joining. Jumping right into this today, man, we are talking a lot of different things. Main thing, college football is back. College football is back. TikTok, college football is back. Everybody is back. Last week didn't count, man. That week 0 nonsense, that didn't count. Okay? This week it starts. This week it starts. And we're starting it off talking about that Georgia 3P. That dog 3P. Can the Dogs do it? I think they can. Now, first of all, let's look at Georgia's schedule. Georgia's schedule is pathetic. Let's just call it what it is. Georgia's schedule is pathetic. Okay? It is pathetic. All right? And don't talk to me about who they play out of non-conference. We don't even want to start on that. Their toughest game out of non-conference is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech. I mean, what are we talking about here? Are we even trying to be serious? They don't play Alabama. They play Tennessee, but we discussed this earlier in the pre-show. Tennessee's coming back to earth. Tennessee is going to 10-4 or 8-4 this year. That's where Tennessee's going to be. You can talk all you want to talk about Joe Milton. If you remember correctly, Joe Milton has lost 2 jobs in college. Okay? He started out at Michigan. Wasn't great. Then I think he went to Virginia Tech. Wasn't great. Ends up at Tennessee. I don't know. No, he went to Tennessee. He didn't go to Georgia Tech or to Virginia Tech. The bottom line is he's lost 2 jobs. And he started the year at Tennessee, and he lost it the year before because he's inaccurate as all get out. He can throw the ball out of a stadium, but he can't complete a hitch route. So Georgia doesn't play. The Tennessee is the toughest conference game they got. South Carolina, people are on that bandwagon. I'm not on it. And you're lucky, South Carolina, that I don't call you in my fraud alert. But I don't think you're good enough to be in the fraud alert. Matter of fact, I know so. So then South Carolina's not even on the fraud alert. Tennessee might be. Tennessee ranked 12. I think it's too high. We'll see. Tennessee might be in my fraud alert. And I love Tennessee last year. Y'all know it. I was all on TikTok. I was all over Tennessee last year. Loved them. But Tennessee this year, you might be my fraud alert. We'll see. We will see. Last year it was Utah. And I was on Utah's head from game 1. And I said, nope, fraud alert. And what'd y'all do? Utah told us all from the first game they were a fraud. Losing to Florida. Florida was terrible. Now, this year, Utah's going to blow Florida out of the water because Florida's going to, again, be terrible. The game's in Utah tonight. It's going to be a blowout. But can Georgia three-peat? I think they can. Their schedule is soft as cotton. I mean, just soft as cotton. So I think they can. I don't know, man. I don't know. It should be a crime to play bad teams like that. Play somebody decent. And I know the conspiracy theories are out there on SEC and why they do it. They only play 8 conference games and they load up with all these cupcakes. And they do. You know, like Alabama, they're playing Texas, and Texas will be pretty good. But then who else? Playing Louisiana Monroes of the world, Furman. Ugh, disgusting. But I like Georgia. I like Georgia and their opportunity and their chance to three-peat. I think Georgia's going to be good. Their defense is going to be good again. I like them. I like them. So, and we'll get to, I know some people over on TikTok in the chat are talking about some frauds, talking about Florida State's a fraud. We'll get there. We'll get there on fraud alert because they might be. They might be. Everybody's on Florida State, and I'm like, hold on a second. I don't know how good Florida State's going to be. Let's see. But let's move on. And we'll come back to that. Now, next thing is let's talk about dynasties. So there was a good on Undisputed today. They were talking about, or not Undisputed, on a First Take. They were talking about dynasties. And they were talking about the Chiefs. And I'm like, I agree with Stephen A. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't agree with Stephen A on a lot. I don't a lot. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with Stephen A. It's just a lot of things I just don't agree with him on. But he was right today. The Chiefs are not a dynasty. Now, if they turn around and win the Super Bowl this year, then yes, they will be. So it's not even like they're not close to being a dynasty. But you got to at least win back-to-back, don't you? He was right when he said that. You know, you can't win 3 out of 4, or you can't win one and then skip 2 years and win another one. And no. Got to be back-to-back. At least some of the time. So the Chiefs are not a dynasty yet. Like New England, that was a dynasty. San Francisco, dynasty. Cowboys, dynasty. Steelers, dynasty. Those were dynasties. But you can't win 2 Super Bowls in 4 years or 5 years and say you're a dynasty. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. So the Chiefs are not a dynasty. If they win one this year, then they can get in. Absolutely. I see somebody in TikTok saying the 49ers. I'm like, bro, yeah, the 49ers had a dynasty. I mean, you may be young, but maybe before you were born, the 49ers absolutely had a dynasty. I mean, when do you think they won all those Super Bowls? Come on now. Come on. Dynasty. I mean, the greatest dynasty of all, of course, is the Steelers. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. I mean, the Steelers had the greatest dynasty forever. I mean, it's the Steelers. What do you expect? We're too good of a franchise. And I'll say it again for everybody to hear. The Steelers are making the playoffs. They're winning 10 games this year. Don't piss me off and have me say the Steelers are winning 12 games. Again, don't piss me off and have me say the Steelers are winning 12 games. Because the Steelers are that team this year. The Steelers. Again, thank you guys for joining in, man. At Big B Dailies, Monday through Friday. We are live on TikTok. Boom. Live on YouTube. Boom. Live on Facebook. 4 o'clock Central, Monday through Friday. TikTok. We are looking for 3,500 likes and 30 follows today. We got a little work to do, but we got a little time to do it. So I appreciate y'all being in there, man. Appreciate y'all being in here. Steelers, 9 games. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're not paying attention to our schedule and what we got. Steelers are winning 10 games minimum. So let's move on, man. So let's get back to what we were talking about earlier as far as college football. I love college football, man. College football. I love all football. NFL is best, but I love college football. So we were talking about fraud alerts. We were talking about Georgia 3P, but we were talking about fraud alerts. So let's just do that. Let's do that. I think Florida State might be on the verge of a fraud alert. I think Florida State might be. Because, first of all, LSU is going to beat them on Sunday. LSU is going to beat them on Sunday. That's number one. But I got a couple other teams that might be out there too. Everybody's on Texas. Texas is like the built-in fraud alert every year, though, aren't they? I mean, there's Texas, Notre Dame. I mean, those are like the built-in fraud alerts every single year. Everybody is on them. Texas is back 8-4, 7-5. I mean, Texas is like your built-in fraud alert. So I don't even know if we can even say that Texas is fraud alert, because I don't know. I mean, they do the same thing every year. Everybody thinks they're going to be great, and then here comes 7-5, smacks you right in the face. So let's see something here. Let's read some of these comments. The momentum is coming from the last half of last season. What would happen the last half of last season from Texas? Who did they beat that was good? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's always something, man. It's always something. So, what do we got? So, Austin over on YouTube makes a comment. Was just about to comment on Notre Dame. Yes, Notre Dame, fraud alert. Yes. Every year. If they just think they're going to be halfway decent. Like, what did Notre Dame do last year to say, and what did they bring in or bring back to say they're a top 15 team in the country? I mean, they brought in the quarterback from Wake Forest and Sam Hartman, and people think that he's great. He's pretty good, but he's not spectacular. He's not spectacular. So I don't know. Fraud alert, Notre Dame, Texas built in. Who else y'all got? Who do y'all think in college football should we put on Big B's fraud alert? Because we got Florida State, we got Tennessee, we got Notre Dame, and we got Texas. Alabama? I don't think, look, Texas A&M, I don't have Texas A&M on my fraud alert. I have no idea how they're ranked this high. I have no clue how Texas A&M is ranked this high. But you know what? You know what? I'm not going to put them on it because I think A&M is terrible. Not terrible, but they're not any good. They're not going to be on my fraud alert. I don't want to hear it. But they're an SEC school. So in order for them to look good and other SEC teams look good, they'll have them ranked high, although we know they're not any good. I don't think Ohio State's on fraud alert. I think they're pretty good. I don't think that. What's up, Bubba? What's going on, man? Michigan? You're an Ohio State fan. Michigan's not on fraud alert, man. Come on. So hold on. We got a question over here on YouTube. They're saying Penn State at number 7. I don't know about that. Seems too high. Here's the thing on Penn State. Penn State, I think, has to be better. Penn State's got to beat Michigan or Ohio State. They got to beat one of them one of these days. And then that's my whole thing. Yes. I think it's Maestro. Well, Mitchell, you're right. They can't win the big games. That is my whole problem with James Franklin. They can't win the big game. I'm like, come on, man. You got to be better than this. But they can't beat them. And a lot of those games with Michigan and Ohio State aren't really competitive. I mean, they're not even that competitive. And I hate to say it because I got one of my boys, he's a big-time Penn State guy. I just want to see him win the big one. That's what I want to see him do. Break through. Win the big game. So hopefully they can make that happen. But right now, Penn State, I'm not going to put them on my fraud alert because Penn State is still a really good team. They just can't beat the big boys. You know what I'm saying? Fraud alert would be Texas. Texas. And I'm afraid Florida State's going to follow that fraud alert this year. By tomorrow, I will have you a definite fraud alert. We're just picking up names today. We're picking up names. We're picking up USC's not on fraud alert. They're not. They're not. Although their defense is bad, but they're not on fraud alert. But I might be wrong. And I'm not, look, if I'm wrong, y'all know me. I will say I'm wrong. I don't care. Honesty is honesty. I will say I'm wrong. But I don't think USC is going to be on fraud alert yet. But we'll see. We'll see. What else we got? So we got, yeah, that's tricky. Who else? Who else we got? Who else we got, man? Oregon, they're not. I don't think Oregon's that good, so they're not frauds. Oklahoma, I don't think is that good. North Carolina, I don't even think should be ranked. I think South Carolina wins that game, which reminds me, tomorrow, Big B Bets will be out, and we'll basically tomorrow, that's all we're going to do is pick games tomorrow. That's all we're going to do in here is pick games. That's it. And UNC, I think South Carolina beats them. So UNC might be a fraud because how they're ranked, their defense is pathetic. They lost a bunch of guys from a bad defense. North Carolina doesn't deserve to be ranked. Let's get them out of here. Let's get them on the fraud alert. I think Clemson this year, here's a good one. What do I think of Clemson this year? I think Clemson bounces back. I think Clemson's going to be good. I do. Nah, Mitchell, Clemson's going to be good. Clemson's not a fraud. Clemson is not going to be a fraud this year. Better quarterback play. Nobody's talking about them. Watch Clemson. Just watch Clemson. I like what they got going on. Florida State beats LSU. Nope. Let's see. Oregon State is a sleeper. I've seen that. I like Oregon State football. They play physical. Y'all know me. I like physical football. And Oregon State is one of those teams that'll run it right down your throat. I like them. I don't know how good they're going to be, but they're my outside shot to win the Pac-12. So, now here's a horrible take by Austin. And maybe it's not a take, Austin, saying Dabo is on the hot seat. Dabo Swinney on the hot seat? What? Come on now, man. We got to start being serious in here. And look, I try to be as nice as y'all know me, though. I will call stupidity out when I see it. I'm sorry, Austin. This is stupid. And maybe I know you're just asking a question. So I apologize if you're asking a question. But if you're not, and that's your take, then that's insane. Dabo Swinney is not on anybody's hot seat. He has turned Clemson around into being exactly what it is today. Come on. Ooh, now there's a good question, Trey, over here on TikTok. Is Oklahoma in a rebuild? I think they are. But I think they got the coach to do it. I'm biased because I played for Venables when I was at K-State playing. So long time ago. So I'm biased and I like Venables. But man, I'm telling you, they're in a rebuild. But OU will be better this year. OU will be better. I like OU. Colorado will be better than what they were. Here's the thing. And people are going to say it's one of two things, and it's stupid. Colorado was 1-11. They were the worst team in Division I in Power 5 football maybe one of the worst teams in all of Division I football last year. That's not up for debate. They were horrible. Horrible. They brought in basically a brand new team. If they win 5 games, which, by the way, will be tough because their schedule is tough, that is a huge improvement from what they were. And people are going to say that Colorado winning 5 games is a failure, and you couldn't be further from the truth. I just don't understand that. Any other team, if it wasn't Dion, if they went from 1 win to 5 wins, they would say, man, they got better. People aren't going to say that about Colorado. Why? I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Because they're not going to win 8 games. They're not going to. They don't have a roster yet for that. But if they get to 5, if they win 6 games, Dion should be coach of the year. With the roster, he should be coach of the year. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Let's see. What else we got? Florida tonight. Let's just break down something tonight. Utah is going to beat up Florida tonight. Utah is going to beat up Florida tonight. It's going to be ugly. Going to be ugly. So, now here's a good question over here on YouTube. And by the way, let me just do my promo again. Again, we're Big B Daily Lives, man. I appreciate everybody joining. We're live on TikTok, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. The chat is open everywhere. Thank you guys for joining in, man. We are live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time. And if you're not over on YouTube, come on over and subscribe. The chat is popping. Wakan has a good question over. Do you think Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M is on the hot seat? I think so. I think this is the year that Jimbo is finally on the hot seat. The buyout isn't as much. And I think if they stink it up again, I think all that money at A&M is going to say he's out of here. Get out. That is exactly right, Trey. There is no reason that Texas A&M shouldn't be competing. No reason. With the stadium, the funding, everything that Texas A&M has, they should be competing year in and year out. Year in and year out. Think about this. Give Alabama the money that Texas A&M has. Alabama would never lose a game, ever. Ever. And Alabama has a lot of stuff going for them right now, but they don't have A&M money. Give Georgia A&M money. Florida A&M money. They just can't get it right. That's the problem with A&M. They got the wrong coach in there. Jimbo's a bad coach. His time has passed. They got to get somebody else in there. Whew. A&M and Texas have more resources than everybody. Whew. Terrible, man. Terrible. What else we got? TikTok, what do we got, man? We need to get to 3,500 likes, man. We're at 20 followers. We need 10 more. If you're in there, give me a follow. Who's winning it all in college this year? I think Georgia's going for a three-peat. I think Georgia's three-peating. I'd like to see somebody else win it, but I don't think anybody else can. I don't think anybody else can. But you're right. I don't think Georgia will lose a game. Their schedule's soft. The West isn't as good. The SEC isn't as good. I don't care what anybody says. It's not as good. It's top heavy. LSU is not as good as what people think that they are. Although I think they beat Florida State on Sunday. But LSU isn't as good as what people think. You still got Ole Miss, your your 6-6, 7-5 Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas. You know, Alabama's not going to be as good. Georgia's going to win it. UT, you talking about Texas or Tennessee? What do I think KU will do? KU will be 6-6, 5-7. They won't be great, but that's pretty good for KU. KU's building something. It's just going to take a couple more years. Brian Kelly's not anything special. Yeah, I get that. What do we got? We got another question over here over on YouTube. Do you think Venables will turn Oklahoma around, or is he gone in the next 2 years? I think that Venables, I want to believe that Venables will turn it around. I like Brent Venables. I like him as a person. I like him as a coach. I think that he will get it turned around, or I want him to. Now, will he? I don't know. But I definitely want him to. I want him to. I think he's capable of doing it. I think he's capable of turning OU around. This will be the year. OU's got to go into this year. They got to try to get to 9-3 minimum this year. They got to get to 9-3 because they weren't awful. Now, they lost a lot before he got there, but they were pretty good. And to have the 6-7 season like they had last year, that's unacceptable at OU. Shouldn't have happened. But the one problem is I don't think OU's quarterback is very good. Dylan Gabriel, I don't think he's that good. I think they got to go with the young guy that has more talent. That's what I think at OU. I think that's what OU's problem is. They got to get a young guy in there with more talent. Another question. Oklahoma is heading straight to Nebraska status if things don't turn around from Austin. You're right. The difference is Nebraska did it to themselves. Nebraska decided that having a successful coach in Frank Solich wasn't good enough. So they fired him. Hasn't been the same since. Even Bo Pelini was having success. Wasn't good enough. Got rid of him. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? So, we'll see, man. No, we'll see. We will see. Ball's not going to the chip, man. The Vols are on my fraud alert for this year. I'm sorry. 8-4. Max for the Vols. Max. I'm sure that they do miss Bo Pelini in Nebraska. Again, I know he was cussing everybody out, and that was the problem. He was cussing out donors, cussing out people that he didn't want to kiss anybody's ass. And so they got rid of him. And now they paid the price for that. Frank Solich was fine. The guy went to a national championship game. 2 years later, he's out? Winning 9 and 10 games a year wasn't good enough. Okay, well, it's what happens. It's what happens, man. It's crazy. So, U of L football, U of L is going to be fine, man. U of L is going to be just fine. U of L is going to win. Louisville is going to win 9 games this year. Louisville's going to win 9 games this year. Louisville's going to win 9 games. K-State's going to win the Big 12 again. Steelers are going to make the playoffs. Life's going to be good for Big B football season this year. Life is going to be good. Life is going to be good. Steelers, K-State, Louisville, all going to have good football seasons. I'm going to feel good this year, all year. Life's going to be good. And don't y'all come in here talking nonsense about it either. Okay? Yeah, U of L's going to ball out. Louisville's too good. We're going to be great. I love it. Uh-oh. Here's a question over on YouTube. Does Tennessee lose to Kentucky at Kentucky? No. I mean, Tennessee, in Tennessee's worst year, they beat Kentucky. You know, and it was like Tennessee's worst year. It was Kentucky's best year, and Tennessee still beat them. So Kentucky just can't beat Tennessee. My goodness. And they're not going to start now. Not going to start now. Utah is beating the brakes off of Florida tonight in just a few hours. They are beating the brakes off of Florida. What do I think about the Packers? The Packers are going to be bad. Kentucky's going to have a down year. I don't know if it'll be down. I still think Kentucky gets to a bowl game. So we'll see. We will see. Will Louisville keep it under 30 with Kentucky? Louisville will beat Kentucky this year, D Rose. Question over here on YouTube. Somebody trying to talk nonsense to me. Louisville is beating Kentucky this year. Louisville is beating Kentucky this year. Now, how you like that? How you like that? Should you trade Burrow in fantasy football? Do you want to lose? Because if you want to lose, you should trade Burrow. Man, that's too many names to read on the fantasy football roster, bro. Cut it down to one or two, and I can read it. What do you think Deion Sanders is going to do in Colorado? I think he's going to be fine. I think they'll win maybe 4 or 5 games this year, and that will not be a failure. To win 4 or 5 games at Colorado this year is not going to be a failure. It's not going to be a failure. And anybody who thinks it is nuts. It's not a failure. They were the worst team in Division I football last year. The roster was pathetic. It was pathetic. So if they can win that many games, they will be fine, man. They will be fine. Got time for about 2 more questions. Let's see. What do we got? Rams last place. Yeah, the Rams are going to stink again. Their offensive line is horrific. Will Pitt, like the Pitt Panthers, be good? No, they'll be okay. They'll be average. Florida State beats LSU. Nope. And Utah beats Florida. Yep. Arizona Cards champs. They can't. Arizona Cardinals wouldn't be the champs in an inter-squad scrimmage. Do the Chiefs repeat? I don't think so. I don't think so. USC fraud alert. There's been a bunch of y'all that have said that, haven't you? Damn it, I'm taking y'all's advice. I said that USC wasn't going to be on my fraud alert, but you know what? Because that defense is bad. That defense is horrible. Put USC on my fraud alert. Tomorrow, we are going to have frauds. We're going to have about 4 or 5 people that are our college football frauds. Tomorrow is going to be all college football. I can tell you that right now. We are talking all college football tomorrow. We are talking picks. We're doing our frauds. We're doing everything college football tomorrow. And then next week, we'll pick it up with pro football. But look, college football starts tonight. It's this weekend. We're giving college football its due. Heisman favorite is still Williams. It's still Williams. But there'll be some other guys. Let's see. I appreciate it, Mitchell, man. Thank you. As always, brother. Again, every Monday through Friday, we are on Big B Dailies. We are live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Please join. Please follow me if you're on TikTok. Give me a follow, man. If you're on YouTube, come subscribe. If you're on TikTok, come on over to YouTube, man, and subscribe. The chat is up and popping over there as well. Let's see. We got one more question over here on YouTube. Bengals are being cryptic about Burrow's calf. No, he was practicing today. He was practicing, full practice today. So he's going to play week 1. I think Burrow is back. I think he's back. How do I think the Chargers will do? We'll do a full workup next week on NFL teams, but Just keep that in the burner. The Chargers, I think, got something. The Chargers got something. They do. They do. Florida's going 4-8, probably. I'm just telling you, Florida's going to get boat raced tonight. Mark my words. Mark my words. So, all right, man. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. Again, if you're on TikTok and you're not following me, please give me a follow. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on TikTok and you're not subscribed, please come on over and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk, man. We have a ton of fun. A ton of fun. Yes, 4-8. Florida stinks. And they might get beat by 30 points tonight. Watch it. Bottom line is we have a ton of fun on Big B Dailies, man. Thank you guys for joining. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. College football tomorrow. We got our fraud alerts. We're doing our picks. Tomorrow, dedicating everything to college football tomorrow on tomorrow's show. Gonna have a lot of fun, man. So thank you guys for joining. I will catch you guys later.